Hey everyone, it's Sean from Our Bronco Life, and today is an exciting day. I have these LASFIT Pod Lights plus a light bar that I'm going to install on our Bronco. So come along, I'm going to show you how it's done. Today is install day. We are installing these LASFIT Pod Lights plus this 30-inch light bar. And with the light bar, it comes both with the bottom brackets and the side brackets. And I use the bottom brackets, which fit nice and great with the heavy-duty modular front bumper. We're not going to need the side brackets. And I did order the wiring harness, but I don't need that. What I did was I clipped off the relay part, and I'm just using the connector piece for the install of the light bar. And then I just snipped off the wires there, as you can see. And I'm going to put my positive to one of my aux switches, and then the negative I'm just going to ground it to somewhere under the hood. I've already mounted one pod light, and they're very easy to mount so far with the bracket. And in the back they have the connector piece, which is already split. We're positive and negative, so it's going to be easy to hook up to another one of my auxiliary switches on that. So come along, let's install them. So I'm using the rear brackets, and you can just slide them on with the provided track in the back. And I'm going to keep them nice and loose until I get it in position mounting onto the bumper. The passenger side bracket, that is where the opening is for the rear bracket bolt. So I cheated it all the way to the edge and got that tightened. And then this is where I'll make my adjustments on the driver's side. A reminder, I'm using a T30 bit with an extender, so I'm not knocking my grill or any points of contact on my Bronco. Now that I have the light bar in the position I want with the bolts all tightened, it's time to wire up the power. Now I'm going to find a path down over here through the fender that could connect up into the bumper for the light bar. Alright, I added an adapter for my ground, which I'm going to mount under this bolt with my other grounds, and then my positive is going to go to aux switch number 2, which is this green and brown one, which you can find all the aux switch wirings in your digital owner's manual inside your Bronco. Now before you do any electrical work, always make sure the battery is disconnected. So I have the wiring zip tied to all of my other wiring, and I tucked it up here nice and neat. Auxiliary hook is switched up and the ground is set, and now the light bar is done. Let's move on to the pod lights. Alright, I tucked the wiring under the hood cowling and the accessory ready mirror cover, and now I'm going to replace the bolts and mount the pod light. When installing the pod lights, put the brackets on first before you mount the light to the bracket. That way you have free range of motion of where you want to position your bracket and for the tools to have enough clearance. The passenger side is hooked up right here, and then I have it fed all the way under there. I'm going to tuck that on nice and neat, have it zip tied and ready to connect to my aux switches. Over here on the driver's side, I unscrewed the hood cowling, and then I just propped it open. Now I'm feeding the wiring underneath, and then it's going to come out right there. So I'm going to crank down the mounting bracket fairly tight so it has very little movement, but just enough so if I need to point the light in a different direction, I can swivel it with no problems. The hood cowling back on. Now I'm going to mount the pod lights onto the bracket. So I connected both positives with the aux switch number 1, the yellow one, due to the wattage and output of these pod lights. Also grounded the negatives right here, and now we're good to go for the pod lights. So that's it, everyone. LASFIT pod lights and light bar installation. A great addition to any Bronco to light up the off-road trails. We'll have a discount code in the description of this video, and thanks for checking it out.